I mean, I did write in Trump We Trust. He's pacing around in the Oval Office and saying, and then Coulter said. That was really shocking how it was censored to be on Rittenhouse's side.
Do you think that someone could fully overturn Roe v. Wade?
I think we're getting very close to it not mattering anymore.
If I had met you as a high school senior and said, young Anne, where will you be? What did you think?
Huh.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. I don't think I've seen you since COVID. Has COVID, I'm thinking about this for myself too, has COVID changed you in any meaningful way?
I hate public health authorities in a way I couldn't have imagined possible.
Okay.
Hopefully it's ended the handshake.
Oh, you want the handshake
I've
gone?
always hated the handshake.
What do you want? You want this? You want a bow?
A fist bump is good.
You want a fist bump, so you were with Michelle Obama long
I
before
feel
anybody
like-
else was.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
A lot of germaphobes were.
Okay. So take me in a little bit on the personal life for a minute. You grew up in Connecticut. Uh-huh. Only brothers, no sisters.
Two older brothers.
Two
Great
older
situation.
brothers. And you were quiet kid, loud kid.
I started very, very shy and quiet. I'm a December birthday, so I'm young for my grade. It was in like first grade. The teacher had to take the two shy kids together so we'd have someone to talk to. So I was very shy. And then it didn't take that long, around fourth grade. I wouldn't say I was wildly extroverted, but I was more normal.
Right. If I had met you as a high school senior and said, young Anne, where will you be? What did you think?
I think I still thought I was going to be a lawyer then, because my father's a lawyer, my eldest brother was going to law school. I definitely wanted to be a writer. I didn't think you could make a living doing it.
And did you assume married, 2 kids, living in suburbs? Did you assume you were going to do a version of your mom's life?
I remember when it was like fourth grade, and we were, just as like imaginary exercise. We'll be alive for the millennium, and how old will you be in the year 2000? And I remember thinking that I'd be married with kids living in the suburbs and being very depressed by that thought.
Interesting. Why?
Probably because I've lived my life the way I've ended up living it. The point of that is you can't always articulate why you're doing something.
All right. So if you had to do it all over again, this life that we've all been blessed with, any big changes? If I told you, hey, go back, take advantage of everything you know now, would you do anything differently?
I would like to say I wouldn't go to law school, but the truth is I met some of my best friends at law school.
Because you were a lawyer at a big firm. You were a lawyer on Senate staff.
When I wrote High Crimes and Misdemeanors, I had 3 days a week on MSNBC, 3 days of work at a public interest law firm, Center for Individual Rights, and then I wrote a weekly legal column for Human Events. And they said, you've been writing all this stuff about the Paula Jones case.
The Constitution does not protect Mr. Clinton, or any other president, from lawsuits that are unrelated to his official duties.
I would call it sexual harassment.
I had the Monica Lewinsky tapes before Ken Starr did.
Oh, you did? These are tapes of Monica talking to Linda Tripp
Yes.
about her relationship with the big guy.
We didn't have sex, Linda. Well, what do you call it? We fooled around.
She had marked, she just threw them in a drawer, so they were a little disorganized, but there were a few tapes in particular that she told her lawyer to listen to.
Wow. Did you think Clinton was going down?
Yes, and I think he should have.
You do, even after all this time?
Mm-hmm. When the president can go in and just openly lie, and defame this poor little helpless, powerless Paula Jones, he did embarrass, humiliate, drop his pants in front of, and then calls her a liar publicly. And she's made fun of with the big hair and white trash. And for someone powerful to do that, I just felt like I was the only true feminist who cared about what feminists claim to be, and I don't think they are, really cares about a powerless female being really abused by the most powerful man in the world. And I just feel like it even bled into corporate America, this idea that if you can get away with it, Go right ahead. Just go in, take an oath, and lie, lie, lie.
All right, if you were going to line up like they do in basketball, greatest politician of the last half century.
Obama.
Obama's number one.
Oh, my lifetime's ahead of. I keep telling Republicans, thank God we don't have to run against him again.
Really?
Yeah,
and
he's.
why? Why was he so good?
Well,
You didn't mention Reagan and you didn't mention Clinton. You just immediately went to Obama.
yes. Reagan, number 2.
Huh.
Reagan was good. I guess I'm giving Obama partially an advantage because it's recent memory. Reagan, it was his issues, and he was a very good politician. With Obama, I am totally excluding the issues. He took my health care away. Hate him on the issues. No, I'm talking about political skills, and it's because beautiful speaker, beautiful singer. Do you remember him at that funeral?
Yeah.
Amazing grace.
Just funny, actually genuinely funny, elegant, looks good in a suit, beautiful family, those adorable little girls. So politically, as a politician, oh, I'm so glad we don't have to run against Obama again.
So are you going to run for office? That sounds like a yes.
No.
That sounds like a yes.
No. When I'm asked this, I was just asked this speaking at college campus the other week, and I said, I burst out laughing, and said, kids, for any of you who want to run for office, don't just say what you really believe like I do. Don't tell jokes on Twitter.
But do you really think that would hurt you in this modern day, or actually would it help you? Does Trump prove that actually it would help you? That someone who was great at Twitter, someone who's great on TV, great on radio, likes issues, actually enjoys them, enjoys debating, doesn't shrink from it, willing to laugh and have some fun.
You could be right. Okay, then there's the issue of I'm not a morning person.
Okay, but that's governing, not campaigning. You can still win.
Yeah, I'd work until late in the night.
We're going to be doing a job that hopefully you'll be so proud of your president. You'll be so proud.
But Trump, give him a grade. His first term, you give him what?
The best thing that could have happened to the country, and certainly to, in my opinion, the MAGA movement, would be in 2016, when they're all crying at the convention center for Hillary, and 2 a.m., Trump comes out and announces he's won. All of the thermometers have gone like that. He announces that he's won, has a heart attack and dies. Would have been the best thing that could have happened for the country.
Because
everything he accomplished through the campaign. And I did write in Trump We Trust. I still say the campaign was fantastic because of the issues he was running on. He was running on great issues. Republicans I want to run for president, I've given them copies of In Trump We Trust, saying, writing in the inscription, do this, don't be Trump.
So you say Trump did not live up to what he promised?
Nope. Just totally betrayed his supporters.
And you mean that primarily on immigration, or you literally mean it across the board?
I assume you are an avid follower of me on Twitter.
Yes.
But in columns and on Twitter,
yeah.
Go Joe Biden for bringing troops out of Afghanistan.
Okay.
Thank you for keeping one of Donald Trump's promises that he was too much of a sissy to accomplish. Yeah. So he didn't keep his promises on war, didn't keep his promises on anchor babies, on the wall, on deporting illegals, didn't keep his promises on bringing manufacturing home. But he just, hold these rallies and say, oh, I'm bringing so many. No, you didn't. You didn't.
Oh, wait. So is he going to win in 24?
No. No, he wouldn't even win the nomination. No.
You don't think he'd win the nomination?
I think he's done.
Who could beat him?
Well, the problem is he'll do the same thing he did in Georgia. I think he's the only person who could give us President Kamala.
Oh, you think the vice president would beat him?
Well, no, I think he would wreck any Republican.
Okay.
And yes, if he were the candidate, but he won't be the candidate. What he'll do is DeSantis or Gianforte, or I don't know, there are a few other good ones.
Interesting, but I have a feeling only you realize that he didn't build a wall. Am I wrong? Meaning that I don't think his base holds that against him. Meaning I think I think if the vaccine had come out 2 weeks earlier, Trump would have won. I literally think if he had toned it down just a little bit, especially that first debate, I think he probably would have won.
Boy, did he blow that first debate.
I think if he had found it in him to do a strategic apology or two, like saying something positive about John McCain in Arizona, or
I wanted
think
him
those
to
little
do
things
that,
could have made a difference.
and I recommended he do it as soon as he became president. I said you should have like an FDR fireside chat from the Oval Office, and you say, not an apology, but say, look, it's a campaign, things get wild and woolly, but now I'm president, and we do need to protect the people who already live here, and that's why I think we should build a wall.
What about when he was in office? Like, would he call you? Would he
For the
ask you to come?
first, and I never told anyone this, but he told people about it. In Michael Wolff's first book, which was really good, what was that, Fire and Fury? That's a really good book, because he just sat in the Oval Office, and nobody asks him who he is. That was wild.
Yeah.
He basically got the gist of various private conversations I had with Trump, just Trump and me on the phone, and I went to Michael Wolff's book party in New York. So I asked Michael Wolff at the book party, I didn't talk to you for this book. And I said, you either got it from Trump or somebody Trump talks to. Because I used to never repeat phone conversations or private conversations I'd had with him. And he said, oh, no, Trump told me. I'm sitting in the Oval Office and he's pacing around and saying, and then Coulter said, apparently I was the only person who told him he couldn't hire his children.
Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
How did you feel about Ahmaud Arbery and what happened down in Georgia?
I didn't follow that case because it was the same time as Rittenhouse, so I probably shouldn't say anything. The malice part seems a bit high.
Interesting. So
because that's premeditation.
The Rittenhouse, how do you read that one?
I was so relieved with that, so relieved.
And say more why.
Because he was being attacked, and the right of self-defense, I think, is really, really important, especially if you're a 99-pound weakling like me.
The police make no attempt to stop him. Both Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber die from their injuries.
Contrary to what the media was saying, what Twitter was saying, what Facebook, or you were allowed to say on Instagram or any of these places, I mean, that was really shocking how it was censored to be on Rittenhouse's side. And so many people, including liberals, came out and said, oh my gosh, I didn't know we shot all white people. How can you not know that basic fact? Not that, I mean, it's self-defense, no matter who the person is you're shooting, but how can you not know that? Because the media was misportraying things, was lying about things, the crossing state line. No, his father lived in Kenosha, his grandmother lived in Kenosha. It's 15 minutes away from Antioch. People act like he drove across California to come defend Kenosha. No, it's a 15-minute drive. And the night before, all of these businesses had been burnt down and riots, and he, along with some other brave American men, because, you know, the idiot mayor of Kenosha, stand down, don't let the cops defend anything. They're going to go defend the town.
Would you have allowed that, though? I mean, it's hard for me to say. I don't have kids, and so maybe I'm crossing a line here, but I don't know that I would allow.
This is what you need to know about Wisconsin. It's the only state in the union where the first day of hunting is a state holiday. Young men have guns. Hunting is very, very important.
Black Lives Matter. What impact do you think it's had on the country? On balance, what happened post George Floyd? Helpful, not helpful?
A lot of black people got killed. The racial reckoning led to the most gigantic increase in murder. And who are the main people being murdered? The racial reckoning. I mean, from 2019 to 2020, and the racial reckoning only started, what was it, like Memorial Day 2020. 30% increase in murders? That's the greatest in history. That's almost triple the biggest, which was, I think, 12-point-something% in 1968. 30%.
So you're saying in a handful of big cities, Denver, Chicago, Philly, Vegas, other places, you're saying murders are up meaningfully?
Mostly through, you're right, it's mostly in the big cities and also the cities where They have George Soros DAs who aren't prosecuting murder. Oh, and the no bail stuff. I mean, BLM is connected. It's all part of defund the police, no bail, Soros DAs, and who's getting killed? I mean, some white people, some Hispanics, but a lot of black men.
Now, all right, but keep playing with this, though. Do you think there's, even if you say those are negatives of it, do you feel like that there are positives to what happened with Black Lives Matter over the last year and a half? Given what was happening with George Floyd and Tamir Rice and Breonna Taylor and on, do you, on balance, did you want something like that?
I can't see anything good coming out of it.
Do you find yourself, because one of the things I keep saying to everyone I know is I think we're in the most transformative decade in the last half century, that I think the 2020s will be the new 60s, that I think if you went to sleep today and woke up in 2030, you wouldn't recognize where you were. In the same way that if you'd gone to bed December 31st, 1959 and woke up December 31st, 1969, you would have been like, holy, what the happened here?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it wasn't like slightly different.
You're right.
It was meaningfully different.
You're right.
Right?
I wish I could see the future. It would tell me what stock to buy.
Are you good with money? Are you a good stock picker?
No. No, do the opposite of what I do.
Oh, is that right? Now, are you a big spender?
No, I think that's among the things that I found appalling about Trump. It's the opposite of a wasp.
Oh, you were saying you were a proud wasp, and he is the opposite of a wasp.
Oh, yeah, the flashy. I mean, it's more like Sopranos.
Yeah.
It's weird because we've never had the kind of income inequality that we have now. A lot of which, I might add, I attribute to neither political party's willingness to give up on the carried interest loophole. Meet these hedge fund guys and say, yeah, maybe I'd have this house if I only had to pay 15% in taxes. Like someone else I could name. No, it's outrageous, it's unfair. And that's another broken Trump promise. And at this point, a broken Biden promise.
Oh, and so you would be up for raising taxes on the rich?
Not exactly. It's not the rich. It's that hedge fund managers should pay the same income tax as you and I do.
But that would be a tax raise, right? I mean, you'd be raising their taxes.
Well,
You're
They're getting an unfair break right now.
Yeah.
Pay the same rate I do. Pay the same rate the rest of us do. It's a scam, and everybody knows it's a scam. If our country is wrecked by the rich, I so want a wealth tax. I want to destroy the rich. But not if our country isn't wrecked.
Okay.
After hearing hours of arguments today, the Supreme Court appears willing to uphold Mississippi's ban on nearly all abortions after 15 weeks. A ruling in this case could significantly weaken Roe v. Wade or overturn it.
Given where we are, 2021, about to be 2022, do you think that someone could fully overturn Roe v. Wade? Whether it was a state or a court, like, could it happen?
I don't know. I mean, for political reasons, purely political reasons, not talking about human life at all, I think a lot of judges, justices, and both Republicans and Democrats would really rather have this hot potato taken away from them. I think we're getting very close to, maybe this is being naive, but it not mattering anymore. It's more things like, a lot of the things that really used to upset people about Roe was that you can't even have parental notification for minors getting an abortion. I mean, states wanted to do little things like that, or spousal notification, to not even tell your husband you're having an abortion. There's Norplant, there's the morning after pill. I think technology is making it rarer. I think everybody would just really like it to go away.
Now, somebody would expect college-educated woman, law school graduate lawyer, they would say, Republican or not, they would have expected you to be pro-choice. Were you at some point?
When I was like 10, 11, and then I'd raise the arguments with my father that I'd heard, and, oh, what about a poor girl, blah, blah, blah. And father was a man of few words. He'd say, I don't care, a life is a life. And I never heard a good counter-argument. if it is a life. The last thing I'd say about it is, no, two things. One is more on the political and the other one is more on philosophical, which is, it's hard to calculate how that has affected society, the feeling that, I mean, if you've seen the sonograms, they're little babies. They may be tiny and just a little bit bigger than a kidney bean, but you can see little fingers developing and a little head developing, and to live in a world where that's very inconvenient for me and I can kill it, it seems to me that will have a coarsening effect. It's hard to measure since we've been living in that society for a long time. I don't think abortion is as interesting politically anymore, which is why I don't write about it particularly, because every single Republican is pro-life. That wasn't true when I was a kid.
If you were to go back and give young Anne advice at 21, what would you tell her? If you were like having the real conversation.
Oh, I know.
Ooh!
You have 4 years to find a husband, do it at college. I mean, you're all the same age, you're all single, you're all interested in this, you're all college educated.
Yeah.
You've broken down so many things right there. Just find somebody to marry now.
All right, let's do rapid fire.
Excellent.
Your favorite Democratic politician?
Dianne Feinstein.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, Dr. Strangelove.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
The name of your biopic?
Empress of the World.
The one that got away?
The Trump presidency. Biggest opportunity blown. Sorry, go ahead.
Most interesting thing you've learned in this life about love?
Maybe boys are more romantic than girls.
Most beautiful place you've ever been to in this world?
New York City, top of the Peninsula Hotel. I love buildings. I love skyscrapers. I love looking out over the city. And right there, it's so weird, they're right there around you.
Yeah. Well, Ann Coulter, fun. Once again, thank you.
This was fun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just in time, the sun's going
Just
down.
in time.